Hey friends, welcome to your Lotus Pose Blueprint breakdown video.
So Padmasana, one of the most quintessential yoga postures, ones that we have all seen or possibly attempted, but it has very high prerequisites in the body. We have double external rotation in both of the hips. We need knee flexion to close this joint, and we need tibial rotation as well. And then lastly, we might also need some genetic predisposition here. So the degree of rotation in the hips is somewhere between 90 and 115 degrees, which is a lot and far beyond the normal range of motion. So we have to be really honest with ourselves about how our bodies may already fit this shape or where they need a lot of training to get there.
And that's where the mental side of this position really comes into play. You need to have discernment, you need to have honesty, and you need to have a lot of awareness as it comes to your own physical body. What works for you? How much do you really need this pose in your practice? How much of your time are you really willing to commit to it? This pose takes a lot of time to develop for some people, and it is available, but it does require you to really pay attention and to not overwork the shape, because that's going to lead to stressing out your knees, your hips, and your ankles. We want to really make sure we're organizing this pose properly in order to practice it safely for a long time.
So let's take a look at all the details. There are perhaps only a handful of postures which necessitate such preparation and attention to setup as Padmasana. Full Lotus is not only one of the most iconic yoga asana, it is also a posture intended to be held for extended periods of time in seated pranayama and meditation. When approaching this posture, we must account for the high range of motion requirements in both hip external rotation and tibial or knee rotation. Tibial rotation is most available in flexion, so we begin by closing the knee joint in the first folded leg. Maintaining a closed knee, hug the leg into the body, allowing for some rounding of the spine and a degree of posterior pelvic tilt while entering the shape to lessen the need for external rotation. Grip the underside of the foot or ankle with the opposite hand and allow the leg and knee to roll open into rotation as if it was hanging in a hammock. Draw the heel up and in toward the belly button, knee joint stays flexed. Target the opposite hip crease and hip groin valley as a landing place for the pointed foot and ankle. Adjust the pelvis and allow for some side-to-side rock or tilt as the second leg slides in and the knee flexes to bring the heel to the sit bones. With as minimal force as possible, and a postural shift to support the movement and attempt to move around oneself, to seek out new pockets of space, instead of sticking to a direct linear route. Scoop up the second ankle to draw it in above the first folded leg. Heel again moves up and in, sliding above the opposite shin before landing near the hip pocket. Compact and hug the outer hips in as if squeezing a Pilates ball, tightening up the leg bind and creating more support for the ankle joints. Readjust the pelvis or any seated support as necessary, adding elevation and working towards a neutral or slight anterior pelvic tilt as the thigh bones continue to drop back and roll open. Continue to muscularly hug the outer thighs in as needed to maintain the shape. Alternate sides, take breaks, and remember to come out of the pose anytime there's an indication of pain in the knees or ankles.